What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol OCGN for Ocugen Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this is going to be a ticker that is widely discussed on this channel. We've talked about the pop and drop nature of it. I would really encourage you to watch the last video we did on it. Basically, what we were saying is that could we potentially start building a shelf and a new area of consolidation in here instead of just blatantly breaking down and continuing on to lower targets. And the reason I said that was because from the daily perspective, we were printing a hammer candle. We've printed yet again another one on Friday, right at our blue line, 50 SMA, green line, 200 SMA, and we have this area of support historically at and around $8. So is this the start of a new base? That is the question on my mind. I'm sure on the minds of lots of other people as well. So zooming into the 30-minute, what I think is most important we discuss is the fact that we've now broken this resistance trend line here, but it was sideways through time. So it's not really a firm break of it through price action, right? Something that would look like this. It's just like by the nature of time passing, we have simply gone through this sideways. So it's not the most bullish thing, but it also means that we're not in as firm of a downtrend, right? Technically speaking, if the downtrend, at least at this, aggression, this one here, of course, that slope, it's not continuing, right? So there is some sort of reaction from the buyers here at that known sort of area of support, which we pointed out from the daily perspective. So what is going to unlock more upside? Quite simply put, it's the breakout up and over 9 now. What you'll notice is it's a big shelf of prior support from in here, resistance here, and into the end of the day, that's kind of right where we wound up. So we'll see if we can ultimately poke up and over that. In that case, we do have upside targets to be paying attention to. Notably, 937 is the first one. You can see clearly where that's coming from. Next one up here at 993, call it 10, the round number if you like nice psychological areas. And again, you can clearly see where these areas are coming from. So this should not come as a surprise for anyone as we make our way higher. Now, it's not to say that the chart can't do something like this. You're just going to monitor as we come into each of these numbers. Okay, are the buyers still in control? Does it look like the sellers are starting to put up a bit of a fight? Should I bail on half the position? Should I take off a quarter of the position? Again, these are just signposts that you can essentially use as milestones, mile markers as we make our way higher. These are going to start to act as targets. And again, just reevaluate your position at and if when we come into these numbers. Okay, so there we go. The one instance where I would sort of say, okay, maybe this is not going to be the play that we think it is a firm breakdown of 8. As we mentioned from the daily area, just a lot of support down here. If it does violate to the downside, that's where I would say, okay, you know what? I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for some sort of structural bottom to be put into place. Some sort of pattern could look like a double bottom off of this 667, break of the neckline. Could look like a number of things, right? Inverted head and shoulders, any sort of bottoming pattern. But on the breakdown of 8, I would start to be more cautious here inside of Ocugen. Obviously speaking, the first, level that needs to go to get to 8 is 846. You can clearly see shelf of support here. A couple of interactions, big support from Friday's session on the pullback off of the sell, and that's where we kind of bounced off of from, or rather into the end of the day. So those are my thoughts here inside of Ocugen. I still do believe that, kind of seeing if we form a base in here is a good idea. If it eventually we do get another pop, that would be a great place to start building a position, and again, potentially unloading some of it at some of these upper targets if we start getting into it. As I mentioned earlier, and again, I'm really hammering home this point, these are just signposts, right? You use these as mile markers and you sort of as a checklist. When we get here, reevaluate the position. That's extremely important to do in a stock like Ocugen, which has a very strong history of pop and drop, even on a smaller scale, right? So don't be afraid to take profits in a name like Ocugen. This is certainly not an investment as the chart sits as of right now, okay? So that's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.